final exam season is about upon us here at the University of Lethbridge. Aaron Chubb from the Student Success Center joins us to tell us about different ways to study for exams and prepare for those exams coming up. So Aaron, maybe what are just some different ways to start off to study for those exams, get excited about them if that's possible?
Okay, yeah, well, I mean, you can definitely get excited about the fact that the term's almost over and your summer plans are waiting. The way you prepare for the exam, first of all, finding out what type of format it's going to be, because if it's multiple choice or it's long answer, you're going to be preparing in slightly different ways. So if all you've done is read about it, then it's a passive way of studying, and I'm not to say that you shouldn't read, and reading is very important for studying, but at some point you want to have explained it in your own words.
And now for a final exam, Aaron, what would you recommend as a timeline to start studying for that exam?
I mean, I guess it depends a little bit how much work you've done throughout the semester. If you've kept up on your readings, if you've done the assignments, everything that you're supposed to do throughout the semester, then about a 1-week rule is pretty good. So 1 week before the final exam, you start studying every day. And that first day might just be half an hour just to get the ball rolling. You don't want to do binge studying at any point where it's 8 hours straight, because it's just how much you're actually going to remember when you get really tired from all that information.
Now let's talk about coming up with a plan for the exam, Aaron.
Yeah, it's a really good idea to come up with some sort of plan. So the first step is to go through, and so this again could be a week before if you've kept up on the material, or 2 or 3 weeks before if you've really fallen behind. Come up with a plan, go through the materials from your lecture notes, from your textbook notes that you might have taken, and start pulling out the information. And you want to arrange it, and it could look like this, or you might have your own style, but basically 2 lines. You want to identify, and this column here, what looks really important. This is information that the professor has covered multiple times. This is information that was in the textbook and the lecture, or the textbook or the professor identified it as a major theme of that chapter or of the course. So the really important stuff. What's less important? It may still be on the exam. I mean, everything is often fair game that was covered throughout the course, but statistically you're just less likely to be tested on it. It's stuff that it was a case study mentioned once in the textbook, that kind of stuff. What do you know, and what do you not know? And don't just assume that you know it. Again, you want to be able to put it in your own words, that you've explained it to someone, or at least written it out in your own words, or taken a sample test and where you were able to answer those questions.
I love that. I love this idea of the chart. I think that's a really good way to break it down and see what you have to tackle, and you may be surprised at how much you do know, which would be a great confidence booster.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can always cross these things out and add them up here as well and build your confidence.
Thank you so much, Aaron, for joining us. Those are great tips.
You're welcome, Val.
Stay tuned for more on Go right after this.